zealous Patriots Party. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
We have gone through all of your submitted questions, and a select few will be answered here today. To start off, gentlemen, what would your first order of business be as president? Let's begin by hearing from Governor DeSantis.
Thank you, moderator. And let me just say what an honor it is to be here today. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share my vision for our beloved nation. I believe that we must put America's needs first. For far too long, foreign interests have dictated our domestic policy. We need to restore America to the city upon a hill that it once was. This means fixing unemployment, bringing our troops home, and investing in our nation's infrastructure. Let's get this country back on track.
I mean, that was just beautiful.
Please hold your applause to the end. Thank you, Governor. We will now hear from Senator Crockett of Florida. Senator, congratulations on being reinstated into Congress.
Thank you, Ms. Chief. Despite the many setbacks I've faced at the hands of the Illuminati, I'm still up here fighting. And I won't lie, I was worried about those corruption charges.
So, Senator, what would be your first order of business as president?
Listen, we must have more transparency in government. To do this, I will create 3 new agencies as president. First, the FML, Focused Military Leadership. The LSD, Limited Line Department. And the RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. These 3 agencies will look into declassifying the Kennedy files, opening an amusement park in Area 51, and finding out where Governor Miranda was actually born.
Let's focus on the
I concur. Thank you, Governor. Now we will hear from the Texas oil magnate known as the Lone Star Shah. Mr. Justice, what would your first order of business be?
Well, talking about real issues, the greatest issue we face today is government overreach, and has been since the New Deal. That is why, if elected president, my first order would be to immediately resign, shutting down the executive branch and giving states back the rights they deserve. I vote we go back to an American ideal, an ideal that started with Benjamin Franklin and the founding of our nation. Forget the Tea Party, forget the Bull Moose Party. I'm not even running for the Zealous Patriots Party, they're too liberal. I'm running as a candidate for the Proud Turkey Party. And forget no taxation without representation. How about representation with no taxation? Now that's a well that needs drilling.
Thank you, Mr. Justice. Moving on to our final candidate, Governor Miranda, who has recently joined Mr. Justice on Forbes' list of the 100 wealthiest Americans. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, Ms. Moderator, when I win this race, I'll be referred to not as President Miranda, but as Comrade Miranda. That's good enough for me. My first order of business would be to nationalize the banks and put the power back in the hands of those who truly deserve it, government bureaucrats. We must always remember JFK's wise words, ask not what your politicians can do for you, ask what you can do for your politicians. And to answer Senator Crockett's accusations, I've in fact been a U.S. citizen since birth. I can get a copy of my birth certificate to prove it.
I know you were born in Kenya, I can prove it.
For the last time, Senator Crockett, I wasn't born in Kenya.
Okay, gentlemen, moving on to our second question. Who has been the greatest influence in your life? What are your thoughts, Governor DeSantis?
Well, I'd have to say that the greatest influence in my life is former Congressman Ron Paul. His unwavering belief in the Constitution and his direct support of women's health never fails to inspire me. His non-interventionist foreign policy has been proved right again and again, as we find ourselves entangled in windless wars and countless stalemates. Ron Paul is the reason why I am standing here today in support of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for each individual American citizen.
Thank you for your thoughtful response. Governor DeSantis, Mr. Justice, the floor is yours.
My role model is, and has been since I was 7, Scrooge McDuck. Mr. McDuck is a champion of the capitalist mindset, and his story is the embodiment of the American dream. Mr. McDuck's work ethic, his wise economic philosophy, and his adherence to the gold standard are all admirable qualities. I am a subscriber to Mr. McDuck's weekly newsletter, and I'm proud to say I have all 617 copies in mint condition. I would thank Mr. Gregory Sawyer for his donation of the final missing issue to my collection, but donations are something neither Mr. McDuck nor myself approve of.
Thank you. Governor Miranda, who has been your greatest influence?
It's hard to decide between my two fathers. My biological father, who taught me to embrace equality of all people, and my ideological father, Karl Marx. That's Karl with the C. He enlightened me with his progressive philosophy, and his trust fund continues to serve the cause of equality. Thank you.
You mean your father was born in Kenya?
Senator Crockett, no one in my family is from Kenya, nor has ever been to Kenya, nor has ever been anywhere remotely close to that nation.
Please, let's stick to the issues. Senator Crockett, I would remind you again to abide by the rules of this debate. Now, who has been your greatest influence?
Ms. Moderator, I would be remiss if I did not thank the tree spirits. These 5 almighty beings deserve mention here today. Oak, defender of nature. Honey maple, supplier of such sweet nectar. Weeping willow, whose roots imbibe my tears. Weirwood, red with the heart of courage. And lastly,
Can you not name the final tree?
Pine, you're forgetting pine, Senator. The perennial pine, the most important tree of them all.
Imbecile!
I'm sorry, I can't name the 5th one. Oops.
All right, folks, we are halfway there. The next question is, what do you believe is the greatest threat to national security? Mr. Justice, you're up first.
The greatest geopolitical threat of our time is Russia. Under Putin's iron fist, the Soviet Union has been resurrected from the ash heap of history. We need a president who will look Putin in the eye and say, "We're not scared of you and your buddies, amigo." And let me say something else. Our greatest domestic threat is people like Governor Miranda, who live in their world of socialist fantasies.
Listen, it's people like Mr. Justice who are the symbol of oppression, under whom thousands of men have languished for years, working for minimum wage if working at all done under the name of capitalism, held up to you as a shining example of justice. You've been supplied with a straw man, a false idol, to placate you, to stop you from tearing down this corrupt nation.
You shouldn't even be allowed on this stage, you red commie.
You're a capitalist, you're all the same.
Extremism has no place in American politics. People want a president who can get things done.
Guys, shh. Satellites are listening.
Gentlemen, please settle down. And Senator Crockett, please get up. Governor DeSantis, would you please weigh in on this issue?
Certainly. In a day and age when computers are omnipresent in our lives, we need to secure our intellectual property and privacy. Time and time again, countries like Russia and China have hacked into our networks to steal not only classified government secrets, but also the patented ideas of our nation's leading corporations. To ensure the prosperity of our nation moving forward, we must acknowledge cybersecurity as a serious problem and secure the technology of tomorrow.
Saboteur.
Okay, everyone. Let's stop for a moment. Senator Crockett, please enlighten us with your basis for that claim.
He's a saboteur. Saboteur.
Okay then, Governor. Do you have anything to say in response?
My positions speak for themselves. I'm confident that the American people can trust in their government.
Going back to you, Senator Crockett, what do you believe is the greatest threat to national security?
As I have alluded to before, the Illuminati are trying to attack us by spreading gingivitis to the mouths of our young. Your son, Your daughter is under attack. The next generation's wars will not be fought on the battlefield, but on the gum line. We must not end up like the English.
Where's Mr. Got it. Got it.
Moving on.
Oh, that was good.
Perhaps,
That was well done.
perhaps the most American of all the holidays is Thanksgiving. Our time is spent around family and friends, where we appreciate all that we have to be thankful for. Our final question today is, how will you be spending your Thanksgiving holiday? Governor DeSantis, why don't you start us off?
Sure. Well, in the morning, I'll be volunteering at my local homeless shelter, giving back to the community that has supported me so much. The afternoon will be spent with my loving wife and my 2 beautiful children as we celebrate all that we are thankful for. Sitting around the fire with my loving family makes me realize just how lucky I am, and I'd like to extend my warmest wishes to all those listening here today.
That sounds wonderful. Governor Miranda, how will you be spending your Thanksgiving?
Well, Miss Moderator, I've invited some of my contemporaries to my villa on the beaches of Malibu. After a traditional Thanksgiving dinner of pink champagne and caviar, we'll discuss my upcoming manifesto on the plight of our nation's poor. While we sit back by the fire and enjoy the waves crash onto the shore, we'll be thankful for all that we have, while so many have so little.
Really? Well, Mr. Justice, what plans do you have for Thanksgiving?
Well, Miss Moderator, every Thanksgiving my family and I sit down to a home-cooked Thanksgiving meal. We start things off with a fresh and juicy Butterball TM turkey, stuffed with traditional Kraft TM stuffing, made with real turkey broth. Some Betty Crocker TM mashed potatoes, made with 100% real mashed potatoes, butter, and natural flavors. And on the side, some Green Giant TM green beans. And of course, no meal would be complete without the tangy, sweet taste of Ocean Spray TM cranberry sauce.
That's very corporate of you, Mr. Justice. I'm not sure if you truly understand the spirit of Thanksgiving, but anyway, Senator Crockett, do I dare ask what you do for Thanksgiving?
I don't actually recognize Thanksgiving as a holiday. There's no proof that the Pilgrims ever landed at Plymouth Rock. And we all know that the Mayflower Compact was just a tool used by the Freemasons to establish dominance over the natives. I do like football, however. Go Redskins.
So, what we got?
What you have just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul. This concludes our debate.